matchy. Day 20. Welcome to the Bourbon Van's 2023 Advent Whiskey Tournament, presented by Bull Run Distillery and their extensive award-winning line of craft spirits.
Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie, and in case you didn't know, it's the Advent Tournament.
It has been the Advent Tournament for many days in a row, and in fact, 20 in a row. This is crazy. I'm so excited. We are reaching the top of the mountain. We're not there yet, but we are so close. And this is the last day of round 3.
Yep.
We have one glass in common, and then we are each drinking a different whiskey. Let the people know and let me know, what have we got in our glasses today?
So I'll tell you what we're drinking the same, which is our glass on the left, or my left and your left. The Do Not Disturb glass. That is number 29. And for me, I have number 32 has moved forward, and for you, number 18.
I don't remember anything about these glasses, no idea where these whiskeys came from or what they beat to get here, but it is on the screen right now, so you can check out the brackets, and I hope that your bracket is fully intact. Let's get to the noses. I've
moved along a couple things that are quite nutty, whether it's on the palate or on the nose, and this one has a nuttiness on the nose. And that's not my forte.
This one has a complete, sort of robust nose to it, a little bit of a rye, maybe on the nose.
Wow, mine is so... I just put, the little Spanish peanuts or whatever, and I just scooped them up into this glass.
Glass number 1's got a nice spice for me. And by the way, if your name's not Bill Becker, you probably wouldn't know this, but Julie and I are trying to make it through this entire competition, tournament, whatever it is, without repeating an outfit.
I have an easier job than you, because you basically wear the same thing every day.
I was reaching for a sweater in the back of the closet today, and this one fell out. You might be able to tell by the wrinkles in it that it is not something that I even realized that I had.
I know, but look at how
I kind of
we
like
match.
it, though. I think it's a good-looking sweater, right?
It's great.
All right.
I've got some tea on my... back to the tournament, because
back to whiskey.
Nobody's here for the fashion, the bourbon and fashion notes.
No, nobody's here for that.
It's like the thing I care least about in this world is fashion. It smells like tea.
Some leather?
Tea, oak, and sugar. It smells delicious.
Boy,
I like it.
It does smell good, though. That smells great.
Oh, wait, we're drinking the same thing. I forgot we had a glass in common. I was just kind of doing that like, ugh, it's tea. Let's get on with the palate. We're drinking different things, but we're not.
You know what is something that we didn't do yesterday that I would like to do today?
Did we not cheers yesterday?
I know. It's like 3 years of bad luck, right? We're going to have a terrible tournament from here on in.
No wonder I had such a hard time yesterday. Cheers. Ooh, I must have chapped lips because that burn got in the cracks there. Wow, this is so nutty. I'm going to need some, but this is honey roasted peanuts if I've ever tasted honey roasted peanuts in liquid form.
Just delicious. Just give me a minute. I need to sit here and think on this whiskey. There's a lot of flavor here.
I'll just keep going. I got oak, I got honey, I got nuttiness, I got a little vanilla. I'm interested in this one. There's a wonderful proof point. Wow, this one is... I'm just thinking back to yesterday's tournament where I said things were like pretty subtle. No sweetness. Not even any fruit on this glass, but those flavors were like, I'm here, I'm ready.
My glass, I'm going to go back to the 90s here.
Oh, love it.
This whiskey is banging.
Oh, no. Love it less. Yeah, I love that less.
Good.
I mean, it's good. Yeah, no, we're going to go with it. We're going with it.
An incredible balance of sweetness and spice. I know there's proof here. There's a dryness, but it's not dry to the point of being uncomfortable. There's, it coats well. Fruit, sweetness, spice, it's all there. It's all happening. I need another sip just to try and zero in on what in the world is going on in here, because I haven't given a real tasting note, just platitudes and over-the-top nonsense.
I see why this moved forward. It's interesting. This is something that your palate would love. So it's funny that I'm drinking it and not you. I also love it. Like, the fact that I like this means that you would like it so much more.
I wonder if this glass and this glass originally were up against each other, because this is perfectly, squarely hitting my palate. It's like a yogurt-covered raisin, oak spice, vanilla, brown sugar, and yet on the back end, it's hitting like a rye on the finish.
It sounds like a Pikesville.
Maybe it's something like that. The nose and the finish are both hitting me like a rye, but on the palate, It's just this wash of unbelievable bourbon-like flavors. Whatever's in glass number 1 is beautiful. It's a great glass of whiskey. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm getting like that saltiness that you sometimes get from peanuts, like
a salted caramel
peanuts.
or salted peanuts?
No, like salted peanuts.
Interesting.
But then also like all the lovely caramel, like juicy flavors that you'll get, like caramel and oak. And obviously this is whiskey, so I'm not eating peanuts. But yeah, it's pretty strong today, and I am enjoying it.
American whiskey aged on the coast.
I like that.
I think this one actually has a prettier color, more reddish.
This is the last day of round 3?
Yeah.
I was like, what round are we on?
Day 20. It's absurd. It's a lot of drinking, guys. If you're like, how did they keep forgetting everything that happened before? It's
Drinking.
Day 20 in a row of drinking.
I shouldn't have talked while I was drinking that.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, this is gonna be complicated because these are like polar opposite drinks.
How soft and subtle is glass 2?
Oh, I forgot that you're drinking that one. These are like polar opposites.
Yeah, completely.
Mine are like so far on the spectrum from the flavor profile.
One oddball flavor came out of left field. Maybe a little Flintstone vitamin.
There is a like a chewiness to this one, but it's like maybe that's the flavor I can't identify.
It's weird, right? There's something unusual about glass number 2, and that's what it reminded me of. But it's not that like heavy-handed Dickel style Flintstone vitamin you sometimes get.
Chalky.
Yeah, it's super gentle.
Yeah. And the entire time, I mean, I remember this one from previous rounds. I don't know what it is, but I remember drinking this one and thinking, there is something so delicious about it, but there's something weird too.
Yeah.
So maybe in round 3 we figured that out.
A little weird.
I like the balance of sweetness and of almost rye spice on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a rye, but there's like a licoricey quality to it. There's some very subtle baking spices, so it's not like drinking something that tastes like Christmas or tastes like an apple, whatever, crisp or something like that. The spices are pretty subtle, but they're balanced really nice on this. I kind of like this one.
Yeah, this is tricky because it coats well. It finishes nice. That Flintstone vitamin went away on the second sip, and it really was just kind of replaced with a little bit of that limestone, vanilla, and a ton of like zesty citrus. There's a lot to like here. These could not really be more different. Like
oh my gosh, yeah. This is going to be a palate day because, I actually think both of my glasses are great. Like, I love both of them. So today it's just whatever I'm feeling. Which is why this tournament is pretty tricky to predict. Shoot. I like glass number 1 too. I mean, how do you make a decision on things that taste so different?
Yeah, it's like choosing between your 2 weird kids.
Two weird cats in our. We only have one, but
because they're both so weird.
Yeah,
you can't compare them.
I always make the joke in my family. Everyone's like, "Oh, we don't have any favorites." And like, if you're a kid in a family of 4, you definitely know who the favorite is.
Oh, sure.
And just recently, my dad's like, "Oh, there was no favorites." I'm like, "Whatever." Like, Jen's totally your favorite. That's my sister. I was like, she's got the personality that you like to like both argue with and
and goof around with.
I'm like, totally. We're not offended by that. We're just like,
yeah, you're fully aware.
Totally resigned, and like we're totally cool with that.
I love that he just chuckled too. He
like,
didn't try to argue. He was just like,
my family actually, all my siblings and I are very different. We have a string of similarities, but
yeah,
I'm definitely the most boisterous of the group.
I like you the best.
Thank you.
I was really curious, so I went back and looked
to
see where whiskey number 18 and 32 came from.
Right.
They've been squaring off every single round. They started off against each other. They knocked out Tumbling Dice Barrel Proof Heavy Rye Bourbon and Wilderness Trail Barrel Proof Rye, but they've been working their way through together. So that was a really strong head-to-head matchup that continues to cause problems for everything else in this tournament.
I just keep thinking, like, people are going to be like, what is Phil doing? Or what is Julie doing? Like, Phil was supposed to move that forward.
There's a musty tobacco note on glass number 1 that I sometimes get on, generally I get it on ryes, but I've had it on bourbons too. And that note just, it hits my palate so perfectly.
Yeah.
That's why I think this moved ahead for me originally, is because it's almost a nostalgic note. Reminds me of my grandpa's pipe tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
And it's happening here in this glass. But there's another whiskey in this tournament where that keeps happening to me too, whiskey number 1. This one hits a lot like that. Interesting. No wonder it moved ahead for me. That nostalgia, it always works.
it's so cohesive. It gives, and gives a little bit more. So I find that so interesting about glass number 2.
Yeah. I just went back to glass number 1. Holy moly, it coats like crazy.
Yeah.
That mustiness is honestly a beautiful tasting note. I mean, I know it's not for everybody, but it hits my palate perfectly. The wet sort of sweet but earthy tobacco, that balance that it creates, because it is spicy, it is sweet, but
Yeah.
the earthiness is what ties it all together and makes it a special whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go spend some time with glass number 2. I'll probably drink it completely before I make my decision, because glass number 1 is so good that right now it almost feels impossible to beat.
I like both of these. This is another matchup where I feel like both of them should move forward. And there's things that we've had, I would have rather these two move forward than something else.
Yeah.
It is just the way of the bracket situation.
It seems like the top matchup overall and this bottom matchup overall is where we keep having trouble.
Which is fine.
Man.
I mean, that's the way that this works. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just how it goes. But I probably will, for the second time during this tournament, need to refill my glasses a bit just because I don't want to shortchange these.
I'm not against that. Honestly, these whiskeys are both so good that I wouldn't mind just sitting and sipping them all night, both of them.
Yeah. This one makes me smile.
I have a decision.
Oh, crap, I've been petting a cat over here.
I have just enough to enjoy a few more sips while you're doing your thing.
I was getting a little cinnamon in my glass number 1 that I really liked on the finish. But I think I took one sip of the... Sometimes it's like when you have more in your glass, you feel more confident, and I think I'm ready.
That's all it took. 1, 2, 3. Oh, today we are not going to find out what is in glass number 2. Whiskey number 29 moves ahead for Julie. I have eliminated it.
Okay.
Your number 32 is the only whiskey eliminated today. Let's find out what in the world that was.
Perfect.
There are 7 different whiskeys going into the semifinals. We only have one in common. Number 32 has been eliminated. What was it?
All right, 32. Let's show the number, just so you know.
Hey, we're honest, all about honesty here. Transparency at the Bourbon Van is paramount. That and, whiskey.
That guy sent this to us. Do you know who that guy is?
Probably Peach Coke.
It was Peach
There's a
Coke.
lot of Peach Coke in here.
Oh, when did you eliminate this?
Probably the first round.
Old Granddad 114.
No.
I love it that it made it so far.
Of course that's Old Granddad 114. Of course it is.
There was just something about it. It couldn't go any further just because of my own personal preference. I'm not against the nuttiness, but like in this matchup, it just didn't. We actually didn't say why we moved them forward.
That's
but
good whiskey. No wonder you were like, why didn't you move this forward? This is your style. That is
Totally.
my style. If it can knock out Old Granddad 114, it's got to be good whiskey. So I'm stoked about whatever's in glass number 1 here. There you go. So semifinals begin tomorrow. We only have 3 more matchups total. And by the way, my barber back from paternity.
Hey!
So that means that tomorrow I will show up with a fresh haircut. I won't look so ridiculous. And I'll probably still have something wrinkly from the back of the closet from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm excited to find out whatever's in this glass.
The whiskey on the table just smells amazing.
Yeah, I'm having a great time. 114! Snap! Was your whiskey hand-selected by the Bourbon Van? If not, it should be. Click the link below in the description and get yours today.